Everybody
Hi.
from Bioware.
Good to see you.
Jon Warner.
Oh, man.
Thank you for coming in. Come on, this is Andy.
Good to see you again, John. Good to see you.
Sorry, I forget you guys go way back.
Oh, we go way back.
Way back.
Hey, Nick, here's the thing, though, real quick. Do you want a beer?
Yeah.
I think you can buy beer outside and bring it in, maybe. I think I couldn't bring in beer without, like, the union or something. You want me to try? Can you go buy some beers? Sure. Thanks, bud. Andy?
Hey, what's up, Greg?
All you would talk about leading up to E3 was Anthem.
Yeah.
How'd it turn out? No pressure because John's here.
No pressure.
I was DMing Michael yesterday saying that I almost, like, kind of cried.
Yeah?
I was so happy. I was so happy that it was what I expected. Like, it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
The world, the mobility, it's just like, I cannot wait to play this game, dude. And I'm like, and John, I remember following him way back on Twitter because I was like, I've been obsessed with Bioware forever. Like, growing up as a huge Mass Effect fan, I was like, that's where I want to work. So don't
Bioware fans
treat
here?
me right, Greg. Treat me right.
If you like Mass Effect, Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Okay.
You better treat me right or I'll peace out, dude.
Oh, has Bioware been knocking on your door?
Yeah.
In there? All right.
Yeah,
Don't take him, John.
Lead character artist,
take him.
man.
I won't.
So, John, what has E3 been like for Anthem this year? Obviously, you had a big debut last time, but people are actually playing it now.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Finally, to let people get their hands on the controller, play it like Andy did. We've been so quiet about it and a little bit cagey. It's just awesome to actually now talk about it, let people play it. It's fantastic.
It feels right. What were some of like the development hurdles? Like, because obviously this is like, how is BioWare going to make this work? Because whenever we talk about these open world multiplayer games, right? It's like, how do you prioritize narrative over gameplay? I assume that's got to be like the biggest headache for you guys.
Well, it was a big challenge. It was some of our most challenging kind of design meetings that we had was, hey, how are we going to tell a story in a way that is still going to facilitate this gigantic open world and let people play as long as they want to play, and keep it engaging, keep it fresh, and give people reasons to come back and make it a real value to come back over and over again.
Sure.
Right? Yeah, it was a huge challenge, but I think we landed on a solution that fits the need, that's going to keep people happy. That if you're really into that crafted story experience, we have a way to deliver that to you, but in the context of a bigger, greater world that we all share.
Yeah. What blew me away was what's the name of the sort of hub, the main little ship that you hang out in?
Okay, yeah, the Strider.
Yeah, the Strider. So the Strider's kind of like, oh, that's where we start off the demo. So that's where I was kind of giving little flight tutorials.
Yeah.
Then you head back, well, when the demo starts off, you were sort of introduced to these 3 NPCs. I don't remember their names, but immediately I was like, okay, these are characters that I want to get to know more.
Yeah.
This is what makes BioWare special. It was like, these are NPCs that I care about. So I was really excited about that. Like, and it was only like 2 minutes of talking to them. I was like, I want to know these people more. Yeah.
So how hard has it been to
Make a game?
Yeah, I mean, really though, merge what Bioware does so well. What you mentioned, the story, but build it into a world we can share, right? Because that was the interesting thing you guys talking about it is that you're gonna be able to play, but the world's gonna reflect your choices. Like that seems crazy talk for when I play most games as a service, right?
Yeah.
You come into a hub world and that's all static. That's not gonna change.
Yeah, well, and that was the big challenge, right? So a lot of people have come to us and said, man, I really want to keep being in this BioWare world, whether it's the Citadel or Mass Effect or Skyhold and Dragon Age, but eventually those experiences come to an end. So what we wanted to do was create a cool world that didn't have to end, that you could persist in and live in and be in and want to be there. So this idea of our world, my story is kind of where we landed, right? So in your hub spaces, Fort Tarsis and the Strider, that's where you're going to have most of your interactions with your NPCs, get to know these people, find out about them, get cool missions, and really become attached to them. But out in the world, we host every game on a dedicated server, first of all, and that allows us to do a couple of things. We can sync up the time of day, we can sync the weather, we can sync up these big world events, so that no matter where you are in the world, we're all experiencing the same thing together.
That's awesome.
So that, like, even if Andy and I are playing, but we didn't actually group up. We were just playing that night. When we're at school the next day or at work the next day, we can still talk about this awesome shared experience. Now, before that was kind of a problem for us because, and you probably know this if you ever played a Mass Effect or Dragon Age games, you'd come in and you want to talk about it and say, hey, Andy, did you get to the part where, and you're like, shut up.
Yeah.
Spoilers, right? I don't want to know it. Well, now we finally have an experience that we can share and we can talk about it, and there are no spoilers, and we can actually tell each other cool stories about the adventures that we went on, and it'll feel like we were there.
That's awesome.
That's really, really cool. Character creation.
Yeah.
Give me the detail.
He knows what BioWare fans want.
Number one games journalist here, guys. I want to know the scoops, John, and I demand them right now.
Wow.
All right. Well,
This is why he's number one games journalist.
I just threatened the developers.
So here's the deal. Where we really spent our effort on character creation and customization, personalization, is with the javelins, right? That's where you're going to see in third person, that's the view you get. So even if we're playing the same javelin, we want as much customization in there so that it will feel uniquely mine. They'll look very differently. You can add geometry to them so that their silhouettes are different as well. We saw it in the demo yesterday where you had a couple of a Colossus, and one was kind of the standard iconic Colossus. One had this cool kind of diving bell suit with the white paint job. So that's one aspect of it, and that's really where we spent a lot of our effort and time. Obviously, when you create your pilot, you can customize your pilot as well. But since you're in first person in your hubs, so you can have that like eye contact with NPCs.
Oh, yeah.
And it really changes, like you noticed yesterday, it really changes the intimacy of those interactions with NPCs. That's why we love it so much. So, yep, you can customize your pilot. You can mega customize your javelins.
Awesome. The flying, how much of a headache was that to get to feel right? Because there's so many ways you can mess it up, right?
Yeah.
And I remember starting off, I was like, okay, this is going to take some getting used to, and it didn't. I just kind of like flowed into it, but I'm also really good at games, Greg.
I've seen the guys. He's
Really good at video
games.
games. But yeah, it just feels natural, and I couldn't have been more happy with how it felt to fly through the world and feel like Iron Man or just like a superhero. It was great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it took a long time. We probably went through a bazillion, I think. Is that the right number? About
Yeah,
a
that sounds right.
bazillion control schemes, trying to get to the one that actually felt great and worked really well. It was just iterate. It was, fail fast. Try it, till we landed on one where we finally tried it and was like, hey, this seems pretty good. And
I feel like the try it, fail fast, like, that's tough to stay on schedule with a video game, though, right? Like, you can fail only so many times before you have to move on to the next thing.
This is true. You get a little time pressure constraint there. So, yeah, you try to just do it as many times until you get it right. And when it comes to the moment-to-moment, which in this case, traversal and gunplay, man, you really got to nail that. So it was worth the investment.
Now, I think the big shocker for Anthem that came out during E3 is no romances. Saw this headline everywhere, the death of romance. Why, John?
Love is dead in the
I want to have sex with these aliens, and you know it.
So look, where it really lands on is we want you to build relationships with the NPCs, right? That's always been the core of the experience. And like, you remember Knights of the Old Republic, right?
Oh yeah.
Knights of the Republic, I felt like my crew in the Ebon Hawk, we were tight. We were close with those guys. And there was no sex in that game, right? No hanky-panky.
No hanky-panky up there.
It was just good friendship and camaraderie, and there's some flirtation and whatnot. That's kind of the experience that we want in Anthem, because Anthem is just a different kind of game. This is a game that you're playing with your friends, and it's all about camaraderie and that squad relationship. And so that's where we wanted to take it.
But he hasn't said you can't have sex with the robots.
Sure.
Oh, he only said humans.
Sure.
So maybe the mechs, the javelins. You never know, Greg.
But also remember, it's a game about playing with your friends. So like maybe some of those relationships could become the real thing. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Huh?
Getting very uncomfortable. Yeah.
No.
You can scoot it.
Thank you. Give it up for love, everybody. All right? Who loves love? Kind of funny, best friend.
Who hates love?
Yeah. No, boo, I hate love. Yeah. Any closing thoughts on Anthem? that we need to know about right now?
That you need to know about right now.
Because theoretically, you don't get another shot. You don't get another E3.
Oh, that's true.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, you're right.
Saying.
So, Anthem is a blast to play. It's a blast to play by yourself or with your friends. Flying and hovering. It takes
good.
playing to believing, right? Because I can tell you about it, but when you get your hands on the controller, you're gonna have a whole new thing.
Yeah.
Jon, when's Anthem come out?
February 22nd, 2019. Xbox, PlayStation, PC.
All right. Andy, you gonna be playing?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Jon, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Round of applause,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Jon. Get him.